You're listening to the Fast F1 podcast. Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the Fast F1 podcast with me, Danny Kane.
And I'm Eddie Medeo Kane.
And today we're reviewing the 2025 Spanish Grand Prix, which was better than we expected it would be.
It actually was.
Yeah, so kind of expected it to be a bit of a snoozer because the Barcelona circuit kind of tends to be a boring race typically, but this time it was pretty good.
And if this is the last race at Barcelona, as far as we know, then they had a pretty good end for their
they
circuit.
did with the added element of Verstappen losing his cool at the end, but kind of blew his top a bit. But we'll get into all of that in a moment. But first thing, as we always do, let's catch up on some of the world of Formula One news. What's going on in the news?
Yes. So, two drivers had elected to participate in FP1. The first of which was Ryo Hirakawa, once again, as he moved back to Haas. Second of which was one of my favorite, if not my favorite F2 driver this season, Victor Martins, got to drive for Williams. And I'm sure that was part of his recently started contract as an affiliate driver that, like 2 years ago, he had been part of the Alpine Academy. Past year, he hasn't been part of an academy. I'd assume that part of his contract said you will participate in at least one Grand Prix. I don't know how to put it.
Yeah, I mean, he would have had a contract to say that he would have some practice time. I think the details of how many he would get and everything, I think they tend to make that up. I don't want to say they make it up as they go, but it's not real concrete.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, they don't determine that necessarily ahead of time. Maybe in some cases they do, or they'll say like a minimum of this many times, but it might be more. I'm not really sure. So qualifying then, practice and qualifying for the Spanish Grand Prix. The first practice, Lando Norris topped the timesheet and was looking like he might still have been riding the high of the Monaco Grand Prix. But then second and third practice, Oscar Piastri was back up in front.
And I'm a little surprised because, actually now I do remember something. Which is the flexi wings are basically gone now. The most important part of this whole Grand Prix, and I've forgotten all about it.
Yeah.
It's been such a boring triple header. I'm sorry. Not the last race. I mean, it was better than usual. I mean, at some tracks we do like to
Imola
say
was
that
good.
sometimes.
Imola was an interesting race.
We had a fight on this. Well, not a fight, but we had like a bit of a topic argument about this last time.
Yeah, they had a safety car period. Or did they have a safety car? But they had...
they had a couple.
We had Piastri going around being passed around the outside. You had Lando trying to make up ground. You had the incident between Albon and Leclerc. Hamilton finished fourth. It was an okay race.
Yeah.
Monaco was boring.
And
Spain was pretty good. So I think overall this triple header that we were expecting to be really a low point in the season was not that bad at all. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, I guess I enjoyed it as well, but it's still... I'm so glad it's over with.
You're just refusing to give in.
No, well, it's not that. but I knew that... I think I found out that this would be a triple header like maybe 3 months ago, and I was really not looking forward to it. I was hoping that it would go crazy. And not only is that one of the reasons why I'm not okay with how the triple header went, is the main reason I don't like how this went is because Kimi didn't finish, 18th didn't finish, all because of his team.
Well, maybe you should be rooting for a better driver.
Hey.
Yeah, he had his share of bad luck. I mean, Mercedes in general probably wants to forget a lot of these last three races. I think Russell was off the pace in like 7th, I think, at Imola.
He was way down the
Mercedes were
Monaco.
terrible in Monaco, not helped at all by qualifying, but then a poor strategy on top of that.
Very, very poor.
And then Antonelli had another engine failure at the Spanish Grand Prix. So,
Like, what the heck, guys?
yeah,
Really?
I know, and
And they brought the most upgrades, too.
their engines have been pretty bulletproof in the last many years, and yeah, they've had several engine failures between them and Aston Martin,
Yeah.
and so yeah, it's interesting to see.
I am confused on how McLaren were still that quick, though. There were a lot of teams that brought 1, 2. There were even 1 or 2 that brought 3 upgrades this past weekend. McLaren didn't bring any. They were the only team that didn't bring any, which makes me confused for one thing. Like, for example, why didn't they bring like a new front wing?
They
or rear wing.
They clearly were more prepared this season than the other teams.
But they
I mean,
still
all
had
of
the
this,
flex-
all of this stuff about the flexi wings and how much it was going to affect everything, and I forget the person's name at McLaren. That the question was put to him.
Peter Pedromo?
I don't know who it was. The question was put to him about, how much their car was going to be affected by it, and he basically said, "Yeah, it won't be, like not at all."
I think that's Peter
And
Pedromo.
it's would appear after Spain that that is the case, that they're not going to be affected by this rule change at all. And
Which is
I think
quite
if anything,
shocking to me.
I mean, they've been kind of saying that for a while, but they've been kind of quiet about it, not really saying it would or wouldn't affect them in any way. I think just kind of letting Red Bull in particular, but any of the other teams kind of that wanted this rule change, let them complain about it, let them put their energy into that, and we'll just go on about our way, doing what we're already doing, and we'll be just fine. And
Yeah.
then they'll be even further behind, which is what it appeared to be.
Yeah. So then we head into qualifying, I believe, right?
Yep. So qualifying.
So Q1 exits, notable exits, Stroll and...
So Stroll was notable, not really, but Stroll was notable because of what happened afterwards.
Well, yes.
Where
We'll get into that.
apparently
in
he
a
had a
bit.
bit of a temper tantrum.
Okay, we can get into it now. It's fine.
Yeah, apparently he had a bit of a temper tantrum.
I've been wanting to
and-
talk about this too, actually.
And supposedly injured his hand. This is all alleged. This hasn't been confirmed, but re-injured his hand that he broke last year at the beginning of the season.
2 years.
2 years, whatever it was, and was not able to race as a result. And
Yes.
because he took pace in qualifying, and because Aston Martin had not had another driver in practice showing that he could be at pace and everything, they had no choice but to pull the car out of the race entirely. So 19 cars started the race instead.
Yeah. So allegedly, sources including BBC is the main one that everybody's talking about from this, is the main source that has been found from it, along with, I think there were a few comments from David Croft as well, but I'm not too sure if that's true or not. But they're saying that after another poor qualifying, he got mad and he threw his helmet, somehow injuring his hand. He did also get a warning. I don't know why he wasn't given a fine or anything, but he did also miss the immediate check-in for the weight requirements.
Yeah.
As well. He did not participate in the race.
He got a warning for that because they were able to show that he legitimately
yeah.
had an injury. So the FIA just kind of like, okay, well, he was clearly hurting and needed to go to the medical center or whatever, so we're not going to worry about the weigh-in, especially considering he's not participating in the race.
Yes. And as far as the next race in Canada, we're recording this on the Sunday 1 week away from Canada.
Yeah, so we're exactly a week between races right now.
Yes. Nice timing, us.
Yep.
Let's go. But for some reason, so I found out that the type of surgery, according to the Aston Martin team, they put out a message that said that it would be a rectify surgery, which can take up to, like, the regular healing process can take up to 6 not 6 months, 6 weeks.
6 weeks, yeah.
6 months would be crazy.
So he may be still missing another race or two yet.
But the thing is that there are a couple of sources as well now saying that some people from Aston Martin are saying that he might be good to go for Canada. And I'm afraid this might be a whole like Marc Marquez sort of thing from MotoGP, where you get back into racing way too soon,
Yeah,
and it could hurt him more.
we'll have to see. I mean, it's been pretty quiet, like from the Aston Martin team, not really
Yes.
saying specifically what is going on with him. But
And
that's
that's
not
shocking.
too. Well, I was just gonna say that's not that surprising. They would want to keep that under wraps either way.
They keep everything under wraps.
Yeah. So I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't race at Canada, but it wouldn't surprise me if he does. So
I cannot believe the year and a half that we've recorded this podcast, the amount of times that I've said, give Drogovic a seat. We might finally get the chance.
well, we'll have to see. I think it'll be Bottas myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you actually?
Well, I think it's possible. He is their reserve driver, or he's a reserve driver for
Aston Martin?
For Aston Martin, yeah,
Is he actually?
he's contracted as a reserve driver for Mercedes primarily, but also for Williams and Aston Martin. Yeah,
I could have sworn he was also a test driver for McLaren.
could be. I'm not sure.
I did not know that he had any roles with Aston Martin. I didn't know Williams.
Yeah,
either, but
all
Aston
Mercedes.
Martin.
Yeah, their various Mercedes customer teams all have.
Oh, you mean like the
some-
Red Bull RB situation?
Not exactly, because that's that effectively is still the same team, or the same ownership group. In this case, it's customers that are buying their engines from Mercedes. They also get access to Bottas as a driver potentially.
Potentially.
So I mean, we'll have to see what happens with that. But
And
that's enough time spent on
well,
Stroll, I think.
Yeah, on Stroll, yes. Drogovic, though, is one of two people, about two people who can really participate in it. I originally thought there would be four. The first of which and the least likely of which would be Daniel Juncadella, who I hardly even know anyways. The second would have been Jack Crawford, who I did find out he does not have his racing license, or
Super license. Yeah.
sorry. He has a racing license. He's racing in F2.
Yeah.
And then the only other person who could really take part in F1 again is, I don't think he's raced in 10 years in F1, Stoffel Van Dorn.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a long while.
It's been since he was at McLaren with Alonso.
So,
So
and he was dreadful, so I don't think they'll want to bring him in.
he was dreadful next to Alonso. I have a feeling it was similar to trying to put a inexperienced driver in the Red Bull next to Verstappen. He was always going to get blown away. But that car was also horrible that year anyway.
Yes.
So
And the weirdest thing is that the Canadian Grand Prix next week is also the exact same week as the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the final part of the Triple Crown. So one of them is going to participate in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and one's going to participate in F1 unless Stroll recovers in time. But enough. But enough with that. We got a Spanish Grand Prix to do.
So in the rest of qualifying, the other shock exit out of Q1 was obviously Yuki Tsunoda, who qualified in dead last
By pace.
Yeah. Yep, dead last on pace, right. It wasn't due to a engine malfunction or anything else.
They've said they're going to give him time. He's performing not exactly the same as
the
Liam
problem
Lawson.
is not Tsunoda.
It's the car.
Well, it's not the car. Well, it is the car, but the problem ultimately is not Tsunoda. It wasn't Albon. It wasn't Gasly.
It wasn't Lawson.
The problem
Perez.
is Verstappen.
It's Verstappen.
And
it's literally all of his setup.
Yeah, and it's not a problem. It's the right problem to have.
Yes.
They have a driver that has got a unique driving style that they've built their entire car around, and they're getting results from as good as it can be from Verstappen. Unfortunately, he's a very unique driver with a very unique driving style and doesn't suit any other driver, it seems. I have a feeling... and I don't know where I heard this, but another podcast said something along the lines of, you take any of the other fast drivers that are on the grid right now, Leclerc, Russell, Norris, Piastri, put any of them in that second Red Bull car, and they're probably on pace with Verstappen. And
I don't know.
because they all have that experience and they all are driving quick.
I would
put Gasly back in the car now, he probably would do better than he did when he was there before.
Yes.
because he's got that additional experience now. But it's
I
a
would-
pressure cooker of a seat, and it's cooking Tsunoda right now.
I have to disagree with you there for the podcast, the podcast that you were referencing from. I don't think that's true. I think anybody who gets that second Red Bull seat, they're going to be so much worse. Because
It might not be on Verstappen's pace because it's built to his liking,
Well,
but they would
I
be
don't know.
outperforming Tsunoda. Tsunoda is not a
Tsunoda
he's
was
not a quick driver.
Tsunoda was a pretty darn quick driver.
He was pretty
in the
good
past couple of seasons.
the past couple seasons in
Like
the
in-
Racing Bull. He was pretty good.
I think
yes,
in
but he's
2023
not a
he
top
was-
tier driver, and he hasn't ever shown that he's a top tier driver.
2023, the last race of the season, it was either 2023 or 2021. I think it was 2023. But Yuki Tsunoda finished fourth in the god-awful AlphaTauri. 2024, he had a heck of a season. And
Yeah.
we were thinking that he should get the Red Bull seat to start
Pierre
with
Gasly
at the
won a
same
race
time.
in the Toro Rosso,
Well,
so
yes,
so it
but-
doesn't. One race doesn't tell me anything. How are you over the course of a season? How are you over the course of several seasons?
But
And
Gasly
Tsunoda has
was-
not shown that he's that guy.
Gasly was just outside the points average. Tsunoda has been a little lower than that. I feel like despite the fact that they've both been given top-tier cars and they're not suited to their liking, it still shouldn't it still should have that sort of effect, because we were thinking Tsunoda could be around 6th or 7th, or when we were thinking Lawson at the beginning of the season, 8th.
But what are the things that you say that people say about Lando Norris when he's when he was an up and coming driver in F2, or George Russell, or
George
Oscar
Russell,
Piastri,
they thought very highly of.
or
Same with
Oscar Piastri, or Charles Leclerc? All of them were, that's a future world champion in the making.
Yes.
They don't say that and never have said that about Tsunoda. His hype has always been he's very good. He's potentially at that level, but he's never actually gotten to that point where people say, yes, he's a world champion in time.
I'm not saying he's going to be a world champion, but I would
Right,
at
but
least
that's my
want to
point,
see
is
him
that those drivers that are at that level are the ones that could sit down in that second Red Bull seat,
Yeah.
and maybe not be on Max's pace, but be within touching distance of him right away.
Yeah. I can honestly see that, and I know he hasn't been in the car in absolute ages, but I'm still confident that Daniel Ricciardo, if he was put back in that seat, he would do well, despite the fact that he hadn't performed in RB well.
Maybe,
And it's
although I
weird
think
to
that
think
I
that-
think that the time at Renault and McLaren and at RB destroyed his confidence,
Yes.
and I think he left Red Bull overconfident, and then when he
Yeah.
wasn't able to perform at Renault,
He
it just completely
yeah.
destroyed his driving
Destroyed
style.
his
He's got
entire
no
career.
confidence whatsoever.
It crushed his entire career. Not only that, but when we think, and I think myself and a lot of other people are thinking, man, why did we hate on Perez that much last
Yeah.
season?
Well, we've gotten 20 minutes into this, and we're only as far as qualifying. So let's talk about the race.
Let's get to the race, because that was pretty good.
So in the race, you had Oscar Piastri first, Norris second at the start, and Verstappen third. And Norris, again, lost a position off the start, this time to Verstappen. It happens a little bit too often, but
He's getting there, though. He is.
But his race pace was obviously strong enough. He was able to get Verstappen passed back only 10 or 15
Maybe
laps
10
into the
laps.
race.
I think 10 laps later.
So and he felt confident from the first lap that he would be able to get Verstappen, but unfortunately that meant the win was gone by the first corner.
Oh, it had been gone for a while
So,
after that.
Then you had a bit of a slow burn of a race with the interesting strategy that Red Bull was on.
Yeah.
You know, with Verstappen going for a 3-stop to everybody else's 2-stop. And then you get 3/4 of the race in, and safety car period comes
Yeah.
out, and everybody bunches back up, and Verstappen bizarrely restarts on new hard tires.
Hard tires. Now, the things he said in the team radio are controversial to a lot of people, yes. I do not think that's controversial whatsoever about how he said that that'll make a difference. he said that. That's it. That I don't think that would have made a difference to what had happened a few laps later. I really don't.
Well, so he restarts on the hard tires, gets passed immediately by Leclerc. They bang wheels along the straight.
Yeah.
Verstappen feels hard done by because he feels
reason-
like Leclerc turned into him, and
Yes.
then going into turn one, Russell bangs wheels with him again, and he feels hard done by again.
That one was Russell's fault. I have to say it. That had to have been Russell's fault.
I mean,
feel
Russell's
like
fault,
should-
sure, but it was clearly just considered a racing incident.
I guess, but I don't know. I might have, if I were the FIA, I might have considered giving him a penalty, but I don't know entirely. They were not going to give Max the penalty either. The reason that there was the safety car in the first place is because the legend Antonelli, the greatest of all time in F1, had been screwed over by his team. And
Okay, well, let's be careful about that. He wasn't exactly screwed over by his team. His engine let go.
still, I'm blaming it on the team. Never blaming it on him.
Okay.
Unless he turns out to be
So-
someone completely aggressive. But
So the incident down the straight happens, and the incident in turn one happens, and Verstappen is angry and feels that he's been aggrieved by Leclerc.
yes.
And then his team comes on the radio and tells him to give the position back to George Russell.
Now that was the thing that, and they had not known this. You never know this right away. They did not want to risk a penalty. They found out, or we all found out later, like post-race, that the FIA actually were planning not to give him a penalty at first.
Right.
And a couple laps later, we see Max Verstappen going through the long
It was the turn four.
yeah, turn 4, into the turn 5 and 6, and then I've been trying to figure out a lot of different reasons why this could have happened. So, the most valuable one that I found is he went through the corner at 170 kilometers per hour. Now, you're supposed to, when you're given a position back, you're supposed to go through it 50 kilometers per hour.
I don't think that those speeds are necessarily determined exactly like that. So
There's a board right on the track on the grass. It says 50. Like where it says 150, 100.
you're talking about the brake markers? That
Yes.
doesn't. That's not telling you what speed you have to go.
Well, not speed. Where
Those are telling
yeah.
you how many meters until.
How many meters until you have to brake?
No, until the apex of the
Or-
corner.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what I'm thinking. But he was going through it way too fast. And obviously you would have seen the sign. He had been there probably another 50 laps before.
Well, so
But-
he pulled off to the side. He slowed to let George go by, and then he sped back up going into the corner, and he ran into him just
Yes.
rather hard.
Yeah. I
And-
also found out that his steering wheel, he was hardly steering his steering wheel. In fact, George Russell was steering his steering wheel way more than Verstappen. And because Verstappen's on the inside at a very sharp corner, Verstappen should be turning his more than Russell, and not Russell turning his way more than Verstappen.
Yeah. So I mean, in the end, whether he did it on purpose or not, I don't think that he did it on purpose.
I think he did, definitely.
I don't. I think he just lost his head, lost concentration, was trying to lose as little time as possible to Russell, and got it massively wrong and just ran into him as a result. I don't think he was trying to do anything on purpose. I think like I said, I think he lost his head.
The reason-
Really let his temper get the better of him. And that's, Verstappen's one of the greatest drivers of the current era, arguably one of the greatest drivers of all time already. And his biggest flaw is his temper.
Biggest flaws, I'd say, are tied with his temper and his driving style,
Well,
actually.
he's aggressive.
He's
and
very aggressive.
depending on your point of view, perhaps even unsportingly so.
Yes.
But we saw it in Hungary last year.
Yeah.
And we've seen it at other times when things don't go his way,
bunch
he
other
just
times.
he loses his cool in a massive way.
Wait, when in Hungary last year? Oh, is that when he went over the top of
When he was
Hamilton?
no, when he was yelling at his engineer about different things, and people kind of accused him of a bit of being a crybaby on the radio and
that's
whatnot.
right.
So, um, yeah, he loses his temper, he loses his cool, and loses concentration as a result. And I think that's kind of what happened with Russell. He was so overwhelmed, overstimulated by what he
Russell?
felt. Yeah, what happened with Russell at Spain.
Oh, I see what you mean now. Okay.
I think he was just overstimulated, overly feeling like the world was against him, and he just it was sensory overload, so to speak, for him.
Yeah. And it's disappointing, really, that we have to see that. Like, the amount of gasps that I had heard from the crowd
Yeah.
after that happened, it was shocking. Because this should be a special race to him, because this could potentially be the last time, that was potentially the last time that he had raced at the track that he had first won at.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see, I guess.
Yeah.
In the end,
You
had Oscar Piastri comfortably winning the race, controlled the race really well.
Wins in his career in the past 2 seasons since
Yep.
Hungary.
And Lando Norris second and
5
Leclerc third.
5 of 9 this season. That's
Yeah.
great. Who would have expected that? I'm sure a couple of people did for sure, but
Well, he's having a really good season.
yeah,
He's the guy to
really
beat
good season.
for sure.
Oh yeah.
So let's get into what our predictions for the race were.
I am
Going into this
doing
race,
so
I
bad.
was leading the predictions for the season 13-3, which yeah, I'm running away with it here.
Yeah, you are.
I'm Max Verstappen 2023 right now.
I like that.
So
I'm confident you're gonna win anyways.
we'll have to see how it ends up at the end of the
You're
season.
you're having a heck of a season.
So for pole position, your prediction that you had was,
Max Verstappen.
and I had Charles Leclerc, and we were both wrong.
Yeah.
Oscar Piastri got the pole.
Well done to him. His fourth pole, and all 4 of those poles came this season.
Yep.
He's having I have
Fastest
to say it
lap.
again. He's having a great season.
Yeah. Fastest lap of the race prediction you had,
Max Verstappen.
and I had Lando Norris, and it was Oscar Piastri again. So both of us
Yes.
were wrong again.
Yes.
For third place in the race, I said, I put my pole sitter for third, Charles Leclerc.
And then I said for third. Wait.
You put down,
I was looking here,
uh,
and I was like, "Wait, you didn't put him. I put him."
yeah.
And I put Oscar Piastri.
And in the end, it was Charles Leclerc, so that's a point for me.
Mm-hmm.
And for second place, I said Oscar Piastri. You said
Lando Norris. I got a point.
we had them. You and I had them swapped from each other. So first place, you said,
Max Verstappen.
yep. So you had him for the pole, fastest lap, and the win, but
And then in
it did
the
not
end,
happen. It was Oscar Piastri. I had said Lando Norris. So far for this week, 1 to me and 1 to you.
Yeah. And then,
And then our wild predictions for the race. What did you say for your wild prediction?
well, for my wild prediction, I said that there will be less than 10 overtakes during the course of the race. And there were way more.
Way more than 10.
First of all, I want to say right now, Nico Hulkenberg. What a performance from him. 5th.
Yeah.
And
Fifth
to
place
think-
for Hulkenberg.
And
yeah.
to think how good of a season he had last year in the Haas.
Yeah, he
the
was-
last time he scored 5th place in a race, and he raced for Racing Point and Aston Martin at some times as well. The last time he got 5th place, 2019 in the Renault.
Yeah, he was 6th on the road, but with Verstappen's penalty, he moved up to 5th. So yeah, excellent race for him.
Great race for him.
Neither of us saw that coming.
No.
So for my wild prediction, okay, so I had said that neither of the Spanish
No.
I had said that neither of the Spanish drivers would get points at the Spanish Grand Prix, and you didn't allow that because you
No.
felt that was too easy because Alonso hadn't been scoring points, and Williams, arguably, Sainz hadn't been scoring very many points. So you made me change it,
And I gave you a point.
and I told you instead it would be that no Williams would be in the points, which was correct. And not only that, Alonso got into the points, which was incorrect.
So if I
you'd have
left you-
if you'd have left it alone, I wouldn't have scored a point. But instead, I score another point, and it's now
Literally-
15-4 to me.
Literally, I hate this so much. Like, you're more than 3 times the points of me right now. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, well, it's because I'm just that good.
Yeah, apparently so.
All right, so for the Canadian Grand Prix then,
The Canadian
we'll
Grand
move on to our predictions for that. I'll start off this time.
Last year was such a good Canadian Grand Prix. Like, I remember we were watching this in the car last year, and we were just getting back from New Orleans, I remember, and we were watching the Hasses at the beginning overtaking everybody, and we were going nuts.
Yeah. Well, I'll start us off for our predictions this time, and I'll say pole position will be Lewis Hamilton. I think he owns this track, and he will do well.
Okay.
In qualifying,
wow.
he'll do well.
Lewis Hamilton.
Yep.
Well, okay.
Who's your pole position?
My pole position, I'm going to go with Lance Stroll. No.
Lando Stroll. No.
Lando Stroll. No. I will go for Lando Norris, actually.
Lando.
And it's weird to think, and I thought of this like 3 days after I found out that Stroll might need 6 weeks. This is actually his home race, and he might miss it.
Yeah, that's true.
And it depending on how much control Aston Martin has over the team next year, rather than Lawrence Stroll, he could have missed his last one as well.
Well, we'll have to see.
We'll have to see.
So who do you have for the fastest lap then?
Fastest lap. Gabriel Bortoletto.
Bortoletto.
Or Gabriel Bortoletto. Gabby Bortoletto. Whatever you want to say it.
All right. Well, I was going to go for something that I felt like was way off in left field. Not that far off in left field.
I knew it.
I was going to say
I messed up.
Esteban Ocon is my fastest lap. So you and I are clearly thinking that something weird is going to be happening in this race.
Well, I mean, it was weird last time. Very weird.
Okay. So then for third place in the race, I'm going to say Charles Leclerc.
Charles Leclerc. Okay.
What do you got for third?
For third, I'm going to go Charles Leclerc.
You're just going to steal mine, huh?
Sure.
You can't make up points on me if you do the same predictions I have.
I know.
All right, who do you have then for second place?
Well, I found out that I have not predicted Piastri to win once this season, so I'm going to say Norris in second to lose the pole position.
Okay, so that's clearly telegraphing who you're thinking for the win.
No.
Second place, I said Max Verstappen.
Okay.
I'm saying Max Verstappen.
You said Max Verstappen. It's
So
already
for
happened.
first place, with the win, I'm going to say the guy who's got all the momentum this season, Oscar Piastri. What do you think?
I will also say Oscar Piastri.
Oscar Piastri for both of us.
Wait, who'd you say for second?
I said Verstappen.
Okay, so that's the only difference between that for us.
In the top 3, yeah. All right, so give me your wild prediction then for this race.
My wild prediction. We will have a new driver in the top 3 at some point in the race.
At some point in the race?
At some point in the race, there will be a new driver, or there will be a driver that will make it, or that will be in the top 3 for the first time in their F1 career.
Finishing in the top 3?
Not finishing, just in the race
I don't
in
know
general.
about that. That seems a little lame. Depending on how pit strategies go out, you get a weird driver in third place all the time.
Okay.
If you said a different driver, a first podium for somebody, that would be different.
That would be very different. What about... You're doing the same to me? Imagine it happens.
Yeah, I'm saying the
Man,
same
imagine the same thing happens and it actually happens or it doesn't happen and I would not have gotten a point.
No.
And then I get a point now.
What do you got then?
Let's do McLaren don't lead the most laps.
That's fine. McLaren won't lead the most laps. I'm going to say that only 5 teams will finish in the points. Because so far this year, I don't think that's happened yet. I don't think we've had a single race yet this year
either.
Where only 5 teams have finished in the points. So each of their 2 drivers in the top 10.
So I'd imagine you're thinking it's either going to be both the Red Bull drivers, McLaren drivers, Ferrari drivers, Mercedes drivers, and then either Both Williams or both Haas?
I'm not saying who I think it'll be. I think it'll
I'm
be
almost
only 5
positive.
teams.
You're thinking both Alpines.
I'm thinking it'll
You're,
be.
you're thinking the Alpines
I'm
2
thinking
and
it'll
3
be.
again.
It'll be both. Well, who's in my top 10 or my top 3? I have Piastri, Verstappen, Leclerc. Okay, so both McLarens, both Red Bulls, both Ferraris, and then Sauber and Alpine.
No, put that in. Put that in.
No. Only 5 teams make it into the points.
Okay.
All right.
It's crazy to think, though, that now that Hülkenberg scored that 5th place, Sauber have quadrupled last year's points in
Yeah,
9
I know
rounds.
this year's been kind of weird when it comes to the points.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll see what all shakes out at the Canadian Grand Prix in a week's time. Until then, this has been the Fast F1 podcast. I'm Danny Kane.
And I'm Eddie Mediocane.
And thanks for listening.
Bye!
Fast F1 is produced by Danny Kane and Eddie Medieo Kane. All rights are reserved. Music is performed by Alex Zavessa. Thanks for listening.